Hey everybody, welcome to NBC News Channel 13's 13 Now, your own personalized, awesome YouTube newscast. Please do not adjust your computer or your smartphone monitors or screens. There's nothing wrong with them. There is something seriously wrong, however, with the systems that we use to broadcast live. It's a special little problem that I promise you we have the smartest minds trying to get to the bottom of and figure out. Sometimes you plug stuff in and it doesn't always work as you thought it would. Anyway, tonight we're going to break down some of the hottest stories we got cooking here in the capital region, upstate New York area. First, we have an important arrest to announce. This is one that we've been talking about for a long time, actually since the beginning of the school year. Why? Well, get this. Remember those stories of threatening violent phone calls that were being made to certain high schools and football teams in our area, specifically the Bethlehem Central School District? Yeah, somebody was calling in saying, hey, I'm going to go shoot up the school if you guys are in school tomorrow. Well, a person has just been arrested. Turns out, listen to this, it was a 14-year-old from Canada. We're talking a Canadian teenager making these threatening phone calls to our schools here in the capital region, causing a whole bunch of problem. Specifically from Nova Scotia, Canada, he was using special IP address stealing software to route his computer and hide his identity. It looked like he was coming from El Paso, Texas, and that these calls were being made from Texas to Bethlehem. So that was kind of throwing prosecutors and investigators through a loop. But trust me, you're doing something wrong. Eventually, police are going to get to the bottom of it, and they're going to arrest you. So we now have a 14-year-old in custody, not here locally, because, again, this kid is Canadian. He's not even in our own country. The investigation here led police from Bethlehem to Texas, eventually to Nova Scotia. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police began analyzing technological evidence they had and determined that the IP accounts, those are the unique addresses associated to everybody's computers and smartphones, they determined that those IP accounts that they saw in Texas were actually compromised and had been used in at least 11 other states. So this 14-year-old was a bit of a hacker. He knew what he was doing. He was bouncing around, trying to hide his steps so nobody would track him. Caused a whole lot of problems here locally. Authorities, though, were able to focus in on the Canadian province of Nova Scotia. That is where they tracked down, kicked down the door of this 14-year-old's family and arrested him last Friday. We just found out about it today from our local FBI investigators. The suspect is currently being held by Canadian authorities on a huge list of charges. U.S. officials have yet to charge him. But trust me, when this kid does get pulled in to your stateside, he's going to have a long list of charges himself if the Canadians don't get done with him first. Again, this was the kid who was calling in dozens of threatening, violent phone calls to Bethlehem Central Schools. He even called in threatening calls to the suicide prevention hotline, a number of other places as well. I guess the good news is this kid's been caught, and now he can get whatever type of, social, psychiatric help he needs because he was going on a bad path. So he has been caught. See if something gets done about it. Next big story. Do any of you ever rely on the train system here in the capital region area to travel down to New York City and back? A lot of people make that trip. I used to do it all the time when I worked down in Manhattan, and it's very useful when you don't have to drive yourself. You can just hop on a nice train. Well, we got some bad news for you because as it turns out, Amtrak is planning on reducing their service, cutting a few of their lines that they normally would have frequently running. It's not what people want to hear, but it's what's going on. Amtrak tells us they're getting ready to reduce the service from Albany and across the capital region beginning next month. On November 11th, Amtrak says they're going to reduce 3 round trips from Albany to New York City. So we're getting 3 less trips. The schedule changes also include combining Amtrak's Adirondack train to Montreal and Amtrak's Maple Leaf train between Albany and New York City. This change will lead some Amtrak trips from destinations west or north of Albany, taking over a half hour longer. Sorry, not a half hour. These trips will take an hour and a half longer than they do now. Ooh, they already take a long time if you've done it before, Amtrak says they're going to work with their host of railroad partners to determine any possibilities in time reduction. This is all because of construction projects in New York City where Amtrak is having to replace the East River Tunnel. So they got a lot of work on their hands right there, and there's going to be chopping down a few of the regular trips they normally make. So if you regularly rely on Amtrak to get from Albany to New York City, you have my deepest condolences. That is going to be more difficult for you now. Well, Election Day, November 5th, we still got, 8 days to go. But here in New York, early voting has already begun. We got some fresh numbers just into our studio. We thought we'd break those down for you real quick. We reached out to all of our local counties here in the capital region so far to see just how many voters have cast their ballots since early voting began this weekend. These are the numbers we got this afternoon. Albany County telling us they've got a total of 26,000 absentee and early voters clocking in so far with their ballots. Schenectady County bringing in about 11,300 people so far. And the good folks over in Rensselaer County, they have voted early or by absentee at least 10,200 times at this point. So a lot of voting going on across the capital region. I actually tried to get down to my own local polling center today to cast my own ballot in the election. Was going to do it. And then I saw the line was stretching out the door, and I said, you know what? I got a few more days. I think I'm probably going to come back tomorrow, hopefully at a better time when the line isn't that long. I don't know about you guys, but my local polling center says they're open from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to be there right at 12 noon tomorrow before my shift here starts. If not, I don't know. Maybe I'll just go home early in between shifts and try to vote then because, yeah, during the lunch rush, that was not a good time yet. Yes, today, about 1:30, I tried showing up. Bad, just way too busy. Anyway, that was Monday. Maybe tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will be easier days to vote early. At least if you go, hopefully it will. Well, that is it for us here at NBC News Channel 13's 13 Now online newscast. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're going to have a whole lot more. Again, this was just a few of the big stories we're collecting today. We got some new stuff coming up in about 45 minutes on News Channel 13 at 11 p.m. here on NBC. That's where I will be. Rachel is off tonight. She's got it easy. So it's all me, and we got Chief Meteorologist Paul Cayano. It'll be a good time. And I hope your TV comes in cleaner than my TV, my camera system is coming in right now for us. Anyway, that's all I got to say. I'm Steve Couge. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And hopefully I will see you tonight at 11 o'clock. If not, no worries. Got plenty of other newscasts to catch us on tomorrow. Have a great night. Thanks, guys.